When someone yells at you, do you really listen? Or do you shut down, tuning out their words while your heart starts building walls? In a world that praises loud voices, bold statements, and aggressive opinions, we often forget the quiet power of soft speech. But let me ask you this. Who leaves a deeper mark, the one who shouts or the one who speaks with calm conviction? Today, we're stepping into a truth that many overlook. Gentle words carry great power, not because they dominate the room, but because they invite others in, not because they demand respect, but because they offer it first. In this noisy world, the people who truly influence others aren't the loudest. They're the ones who know how to speak softly when it matters most. Gentle words are more than politeness. They are a language of peace, a bridge between hearts, a tool that can disarm anger, heal wounds, and even rebuild broken relationships. So stay with me, because in the next few minutes, you might just discover that the softest words can bring the loudest change. What exactly are gentle words? They are not weak. They are not passive. Gentle words are intentional. They are slow, calm, and grounded in respect. They come from a place of compassion and emotional control. They don't shout to be heard. They speak with such clarity and care that people lean in to listen. Imagine this. You're in a heated conversation. Emotions are high, voices rise. Now ask yourself, what happens when someone in that moment lowers their tone, slows their speech, and responds with kindness instead of force? The whole energy of the room shifts. That's the quiet power of gentle words. They don't dominate, they disarm, they don't control, they connect. Let's compare for a moment. A loud voice often creates tension. It may grab attention temporarily, but it builds resistance. People naturally put up walls when they feel attacked or overpowered. It becomes a battle, not a conversation, but a gentle voice. Soft, steady, sincere, has the opposite effect. It melts defensiveness. It signals, you are safe here. I'm not here to fight. I'm here to understand. And when people feel safe, they open up. They listen. They respond with more empathy. That's why gentle words are powerful, because they reach beyond the surface and touch something deeper in the human heart. They're not always easy to use. In fact, it takes great strength to stay calm when others shout. It takes maturity to pause before reacting and courage to choose grace over aggression. But those who master the art of gentle speech are the ones who truly influence the world around them. They build bridges where others burn them. They cool flames instead of fueling fires. They speak life when others tear down. And here's something beautiful. Gentle words don't just change conversations. They change people. They soften hardened hearts. They calm anxious minds. They give others permission to be human, imperfect, emotional, and worthy of compassion. So the next time you're tempted to raise your voice, remember this. Volume doesn't equal power. Presence does, and there's no presence more powerful than someone who chooses to speak softly in a world that's forgotten how. Have you ever wondered why some people can walk into a room and calm the tension just by the way they speak? There's a reason for that. And it's not magic. It's psychology. When we hear loud, harsh, or aggressive voices, our brains interpret them as threats. The amygdala, the part of the brain responsible for fear, activates. Our heart rate rises, our muscles tense, and we shift into defense mode, ready to fight, flee, or shut down. But when someone speaks to us gently, something incredible happens. Our nervous system calms. Our brain produces more oxytocin, the hormone that builds trust and connection. We become more open, more present, and more willing to truly listen. This is the quiet science behind gentle words. They aren't just nice, they're neurologically disarming. They create emotional safety. And emotional safety is the foundation of every meaningful relationship. Think about it. How many misunderstandings spiral out of control simply because of tone? How many arguments aren't about what was said, but how it was said? A soft tone can stop a storm before it begins. It says, "I'm not your enemy. I'm here to understand, not to win." That single shift can turn conflict into conversation, and conversation into connection. Now let's look at the real-world impact. Imagine two leaders. One barks orders, criticizes harshly, and uses fear as a tool. People may obey, but only out of fear, not respect. Trust is minimal. Creativity suffers. Communication shuts down. Now picture the second leader. They give feedback with grace. They ask instead of command. They listen just as much as they speak. Their team feels safe to share ideas, to admit mistakes, to grow. Why? Because gentle words open the door to trust. And this doesn't just apply to leadership. It applies to marriages, friendships, families. Even to strangers, a kind voice can de-escalate a tense moment at the grocery store. A calm response can save a relationship from months of silence. A soft-spoken apology can heal a wound deeper than anyone realized. Here's the truth. People, remember how you made them feel far more than what you said. Gentle words make people feel seen, heard, and valued. And when people feel valued, they lean in, they open up, they stay. So if you want to transform your relationships, don't just focus on what you say, focus on how you say it, because sometimes the softest voice can deliver the message the heart needs most. There's a time to speak boldly, but there's also a time, perhaps more powerful, when you must speak softly and think with great strength. So when should you choose a quieter voice even when emotions run high? Let's explore 3 powerful moments when gentle speech holds the greatest weight. Situation. When the person in front of you is angry. When someone is upset, truly upset, their emotions are louder than logic. If you raise your voice in return, it's like adding fuel to a fire. The result? No one wins, everyone burns. But if you choose to stay calm, if your voice drops instead of rises, if your tone says, "I see your pain, not your rage," you do something most people never manage. You diffuse instead of defend. A soft voice in the face of anger is like water on flames. It cools, calms, and sometimes it saves the conversation. Situation. 2. During an argument or debate. In disagreements, the loudest voice often drowns out meaning, but the gentlest voice leads. Why? Because when you speak with patience and warmth, people stop reacting and start listening. You shift the energy from attack to alignment. You're not fighting to be right. You're guiding others toward understanding. In these moments, try saying, "I'm listening to you. Can I share my side too?" Or, "Let's slow down and find what we both care about here." Soft words don't make you weak. They make you wise. Situation 3. Within your family, especially with children. The people closest to us are often the most affected by our tone. A raised voice from a parent, partner, or sibling doesn't just echo, it wounds, especially children. They may not remember your exact words, but they will always remember how your voice made them feel. When we lower our volume and speak with love, we create space for trust, healing, and deeper connection. We teach our loved ones not just how to listen, but how to love. Instead of snapping, try, "I understand how that made you feel." Or gently ask, "Can we talk about this a little more calmly?" You'd be surprised how fast the tension melts when kindness takes the lead. So what does it mean to speak softly but think powerfully? It means knowing that strength isn't proven by volume, but by how well you master your words. It means choosing connection over control and wisdom over winning. Because sometimes the quietest voice in the room is the one with the most impact. So the next time you're tempted to raise your voice, ask yourself, what do I want to build here? A wall or a bridge? Speak softly, think deeply, and watch how your world begins to change. Example. 1. During a disagreement, a team argument at work, picture a group of co-workers locked in a heated debate. Everyone's talking over each other. Frustration is growing. And then someone pauses, takes a breath and says, "I really respect your perspective. Here's another angle I think might help us improve things even more." Suddenly the energy in the room changes. People stop. They listen. Because this isn't an attack, it's a bridge. This person isn't dismissing ideas. They're honoring them while offering something new. That's the power of gentle leadership. You can disagree without division. You can challenge ideas without challenging someone's dignity. Example 2. When you've been misunderstood, someone thinks you disrespected them. You hear the words, "I felt like you didn't care," and your heart sinks. That wasn't your intention. But how you respond now matters more than what actually happened. You could get defensive, or you could pause and say, "I'm truly sorry you felt that way. That wasn't what I meant at all. Would you allow me to explain so I can make it right?" This simple, calm response changes everything. Instead of trying to win, you're showing humility. You're not rushing to clear your name. You're choosing to care how the other person feels, and often that matters more than being right. Gentle words here become a healing balm, not only clarifying the truth, but restoring trust. Example. 3. In a heated debate, political or family discussions. Now imagine this. A dinner table. Voices rise. One person says something bold and you completely disagree. It's tempting to fire back, but instead you choose another path. You know, we might see things differently, but I really believe in having honest conversations. Let's try to look at this from a place of learning, not just proving a point. Boom. You've shifted the entire tone. You've reminded everyone that disagreement isn't a battle, it's a chance to grow. Gentle words here don't mean you're avoiding truth. They mean you're prioritizing how truth is delivered, so it lands with grace, not harm. The common thread in all 3: gentle words don't dilute the message, they elevate it. They keep conversations human, they keep relationships intact, and they make space for truth to be heard, not just spoken. So the next time you face tension, remember, it's not just what you say, it's how you say it. And sometimes the softest voice carries the strongest truth. In the end, you won't always control how others speak to you. You won't always choose their tone, their words, or their reactions. But you will always have power over your own voice. And that's where the true strength lies, because your words have the power to soothe, not stir, to bring peace where there was conflict, to create calm, not chaos. Gentle speech is not weakness, it is mastery. It's a quiet strength that influences without overpowering. It's a way of saying, I choose connection over control. I choose clarity over noise. I choose to bring light instead of heat. You may not change the world with a single sentence, but you can change the atmosphere of every room you enter. And that begins with how you speak. So today, I leave you with this challenge. Be the person who makes the space feel safer just by how you speak. Not by being the loudest, but by being the most grounded. Not by overpowering, but by creating peace. Because the real measure of communication is not how many words you say, but how many hearts you touch. Speak softly, not to shrink, but to lift others higher, and maybe, just maybe, your quiet voice will be the one they never forget. Before we part ways, remember this. Your gentle words today might be the healing someone needs tomorrow, and this journey doesn't stop here. Tomorrow we'll explore listening, the silent language of empathy. You won't want to miss it. If this message spoke to your heart, leave a gentle sentence in the comments below. One soft word can echo further than we imagine. Together, let's create a space where kindness speaks louder than noise, one calm voice at a time. See you in the next chapter of our quiet revolution.